everyone, Savannah here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, hit that notification bell. If you've been here before, welcome back. My channel is quite eclectic. I do unboxings, videos, just about my life in general. But this video is going to be an overview of some plants that I recently purchased and maybe a little tour of my vegetable garden. It is producing some right now, but it's not doing the greatest. I do not claim to have the greenest of thumbs, even though I consider myself a green witch. But anyways, let's get into my plant purchases, my new babies. So first off, I have these two babies right here. So these are golden pothos, and they are a low light plant, so they are great in my house. I have little like wrought iron planter sconces, I guess you would call them, on either side of the TV in the living room. So that's where these guys sit. So they've already been repotted and they seem to be doing really well. They're really happy. This one's got a couple little issues right here, but he's still flourishing, and it seems like they're getting some new growth down in the bottom, so that's good. Love these guys. They add a nice green touch to the house. And then the second of my new house plants is this snake plant. So this is another low light plant. I put this one in my bedroom. I have heard that they are very good bedroom plants because they're really good oxygenators. Plus I love the look of them. They're just the greens, the different variations of the greens, the shape of the leaves. It's just a really, really pretty sturdy plant. This guy is going to need to be repotted pretty soon. He's getting a bit big for his pot, and I may, because there's a few different ones, separate plants in here, I may separate some of them and do a couple different pots, and then I'll have one for another room and one for the bedroom. So that is it for the indoor plants for right now, just the three, but I have some outdoor ones as well. So I did get a couple new herbs. This is a rosemary, which smells, it's intoxicating. It smells so good, and it's actually a very healthy looking herb plant. I am planning on building myself a little herb bed out here in my garden area for all my herbs. I do have some basil growing in a pot as well, so I got to figure out which ones are going to go the best together and get them kind of planted in pairs or groups, whatever. And then this guy's a little sad, but they didn't really have any great ones, but he is growing some new growth, so that's good. So this is a curly parsley, and you can see he is getting some new growth, but he does have some plant leaves here that are a little dry and dead, but I think he'll perk up in the right conditions and just given some care and some plant love. This is a great plant, as you can see. So this is a vine plant. I am gonna have to get some sort of trellis or lattice to put in the backyard for this to grow up. I may get another one. It does say on the card that it doesn't need a pollinator. The fruit does not need a pollinator, but this is a catawba grape. If I'm saying that wrong, somebody please correct me, but it looks like it's going to be a purple grape. I don't know at what point it actually starts producing, but the leaf shape is really pretty, and I love vine plants, so we'll see how this guy grows, and we'll keep an eye on him together. This guy here, so it's a big one, but anyways, we saw this. I've never seen this before, and my husband was like, oh, that sounds really cool. So we got this. This is a pink lemonade blueberry bush. So I love blueberries. I'm originally from Vermont, and you know, picking wild blueberries or just going to the blueberry patches and picking blueberries is always a really good time. So this is pink lemonade blueberries. So the blueberries themselves aren't actually blue. They're definitely a pink color, and there were a couple ripe ones on here, so we were able to kind of taste test it before we purchased the plant itself. But it tastes like what it says it is. It's got that blueberry flavor, but it's also like really tart, citrusy kind of flavor to it as well. And the kids were really excited. This guy's actually got some fruit growing right here, some new flowers coming in right here. So when we get everything situated back here with the addition, we're gonna try to find a good place to put this guy, and I will probably get a couple more. And there's some new growth growing down here on the bottom too, so I might be able to separate it and make more than one. Ooh, look. That's what they look like. Little ripe berry. So good. So good. Alright, so this one's a little bigger, and my kids were like, why'd you buy grass, Mom? Well, it does look like it's just grass, but this is, it doesn't have the pieces on it yet, but this is called a pink molly grass. So it gets like these tall little wispy pieces on the end. They're really soft. They're pink colored. Here, let me show you the card to show you kind of what this guy looks like when he's grown. Right there. So my plan is to get some more of these, and I want to put them out front in between like the bedroom windows, and then I'm gonna get some juniper as like a ground covering out there in between. Just add a lot of green out there, just brighten up the front of the house, add to our curb appeal a little bit. But I love these. I've seen them everywhere, and I can't help but run my hands through them every single time I see them, especially over those fluffy little soft pink ends that it gets on it. So excited to see when this one comes around to being fully grown. Alright, so this next one I got is a Mesa Bright bicolor blanket flower. This just caught my eye. The colors of this are absolutely gorgeous. It's very fiery. So I did replant this already in a very big pot because it was looking really sad. So it still looks a little sad, but believe it or not, it's actually perked up a lot since I put it in this bigger pot. But these leaves everything was just so droopy. It was really root bound. There was nowhere else for it to grow. So I'm hoping that in this bigger pot, it'll kind of spread out a little bit, and just the leaves will just perk up a little bit more. But they don't really smell that great, but they are, just look at those colors. Gorgeous. And I did see some honeybees on there this morning, which was super exciting with their little fluffy pollen covered legs. They were super duper cute. So that's it for the plants that I most recently purchased. If you have any tips or tricks on what to do with some of these guys to keep them happy and healthy, they would be greatly appreciated. And now I'm going to give you a quick little tour of the vegetable garden. Alright everybody, so this is the veggie garden. We have some nice 12 by 12 pavers laid out and 3 raised cedar boxes that we built ourselves. They've been amazing and they're gorgeous. They just look so pretty back here. So we have got in this bed, I just recently planted, like within the last week, believe it or not. These are just some bean plants right here, just some bush beans, and I will need to go through and thin these out a little bit because otherwise they're just gonna get overcrowded. But I just wanted to see which ones are gonna do the best and be the healthiest before I start picking them off. But that's what those are. This row right here, it's got fallen leaves in it, but this is gonna be some tomatoes. They seem to come in a little slower, but you can see there's a tomato plant right there. And there's a couple right here, a couple little guys growing in. So they're coming along. They're not doing great, but they are coming along. And then we've got some pansies in this pot. They're not growing too great, but they are coming in. Got some basil right here. I honestly cannot remember what this is called. I just looked it up again the other day, but this is sad. This is just like a holding pot for this right now until I find a better spot for it. We've got some peppers here. These are the smallest little pepper plants I think I've ever seen in my life. And this is all I got for peppers. Look at the size of this. It's so little. And this one's little too. Look at that. It's so cute. I don't know if they're gonna get any bigger, but we'll see. This bed has some eggplant in it and some broccoli. I'm having a bit of trouble with my broccoli. It hasn't headed yet, and I did a lot of research on why broccoli doesn't head, and some of it has to do with temperature, and it is really hot right now, so I'm wondering if it's gonna head at all because we are in spring here in Florida and it is getting into the 80s during the day, so that could be part of the reason. The other thing that I found is that people say that broccoli is the prima donna of vegetables and it is very hard to grow. So I did weed them out a little bit, gave them a little bit more space. I gave them some more fertilizer. I have a chicken manure type fertilizer that seems to be going really well, but as you can see, I mean, these leaves are really large and they don't even look like they're gonna start to head yet. But the good news is that you can eat the greens of the broccoli plants and cook them up like you would kale or collard greens or like Swiss chard. So that's good. So it won't be a complete loss anyways. And then these are eggplant. Well, they will be eggplant. These are the little flowers, little purple flowers with white stripes in the little yellow center. They're really cute. I only have one eggplant growing so far, and it is so adorable. Look at that little eggplant. It is so stinking cute, and I try not to handle it too much because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna rip it off if I'm not careful, but I can't help it. It's so cute. All right, and then over here I recently weeded out my cucumber plants and a couple pumpkin plants that the pumpkins were voluntary. They just happened to grow out of the seeds that were in our compost from throwing our pumpkins out there last fall, so it was really weird that the seeds were still good. But we did have one pumpkin start growing, but I had these black and yellow grasshoppers that were living in the garden, and I read that their larvae are very heavy feeders, and I did find that a lot of my cucumbers and the one pumpkin that I had growing had tons of little wormholes in it, and they were starting to rot from the inside out. So my cucumber harvest was not very good. The pumpkin did not make it. So those are all gone now. What's left on this side is actually some lettuce growing from seeds that were left over from in the soil from my last round of planting over here. I had some lettuce planting, so it looks like this is some bib lettuce that started popping up again, and you can see that I got another one right over here. And then these are just rainbow carrots, and they're doing really well. I pulled one out this morning and it was probably about, I don't know, 5 inches long or so, but I know they'll get bigger. But you can see that they're getting pretty good size in there. And I was looking up what to do with carrot greens, and I found on Pinterest a lot of different recipes actually that you can do with carrot greens, and one of them is a carrot green pesto. So I look forward to trying that out when I do harvest my carrots. Let's see. This is another little pepper plant that is really sad. It's been eaten. I don't know what is eating it because those pepper plants are not getting eaten, but this one is. And I don't think it's going to do anything. So honestly, I'm probably going to pull this little guy out and plant something else there, or use the pot for transplanting one of my other potted plants. This has got some banana peppers planted in it. It's not doing anything yet. These are some daisy seeds that I just sprinkled in there that are coming up. I don't know what this little guy is doing right here. He just kind of showed up. No idea where it came from or what it's going to be, but I'm going to let it go and see what happens. And this guy, not a vegetable or anything, but it's like an elephant ear, I believe. It's a small one. I think that's what it is. It might not be, but it was just randomly growing in with the broccoli when I transplanted the other broccoli. So I just put him in a pot and we'll see what he does. And then over here, here's my plants I just showed you guys, is the broccoli that I moved. It is not doing great. As you can see, it did not take the transplant very well. They're a little sad, but they've got a lot more space now, so I wanted to give them a chance. They did drop a lot of dead leaves and are starting to perk back up again. It's really hot right now and their soil's already starting to dry out, so they won't get another water again until this evening. But there's those. Hopefully they'll do something. If not, again, we'll have the greens. And then over here, we planted some sunflowers, and my 3-year-old thinks that these are his because he helped to put the seeds in. But they are growing like crazy. They have not been out that long, and they're getting pretty tall, as you can see. It's my hand right there. So we'll see how those guys turn out. But anyways, thanks for watching my video. Like I said, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, hit that notification bell. Any ideas, suggestions for videos, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.